This is my official warning. Do not work with this week's new moon unless you are ready to radically reform your reality. Hi, my name is Comet and welcome to Just Their Magic Monday, particularly your Magic Monday astrological forecast for the week of November 13th to November 19th, 2023, where we are discussing, just as we do every single week here in my cosmic corner with a cosmic beverage in hand, is what is ahead for your week ahead. What are the waves that we are navigating with the astrological energies? And furthermore, how can you surf these waves, essentially? Here on Magic Monday, we break down the ebbs and the flows of the astrological currents and waves to let you know when you should just float and let the water carry you and when you should paddle like crazy. Essentially, Magic Monday is your magic little secret to how you can flow with the celestial currents rather than swim your way against the tides. And that is incredibly important when it comes to this week's astrology, as we have a pretty strong current electrifying the cosmos, shall we say, because we have a new moon that is aspecting none other than Uranus. Now, Uranus governs where it is that we radicalize, revolutionize, and rebel. It essentially is the planet of restlessness, of change, of disruption. So when we have a new moon aspecting Uranus, a lot of us are feeling this restlessness within around something's got to change, something's got to change. There might be a certain feeling within you around everything needs to change. Suddenly everything's wrong. I need to move abroad. I need to break up with my partner. I need to switch career paths. I need to change everything. This isn't working. This isn't working. I need something different within my experience. Now, not everybody's going to be making those sort of radical changes, but that could be brewing underneath the surface around, why am I so restless? Why am I so unsettled? What is it that I want? Some of us could just be craving changes out of certain habits that we have felt that we've been ingrained in. Some of us can feel this deep desire to want to electrify or radicalize our psyche, our essentially perspective on how it is that we view the world. And some of us could just be feeling this strong call around no longer wanting to pretend. Because Uranus and Uranian types, those with a strong Uranus archetype within their natal charts, are the rebels. They are the activists. They are the geniuses. They are also the weirdos, the eccentrics, the ones who dare to not fit in. And so for some of you, there can be this feeling around like wanting to put your foot down, wanting to reclaim some of your autonomy, wanting to reclaim some of your agency, some of your desire to not fit into the mold and to understand that is part of your power. Okay, it's a Scorpio new moon, so there are themes around power coming up. But essentially, this is a new moon to work with if you are ready to really call in some major change. If you are feeling this restlessness, almost like electric currents are just pulsing beneath your skin around something's got to change, something's got to change. When we talk about Uranus energy, sometimes it can supercharge the cosmos with this live wire energy. And again, you're going to want to be intentional. Mars is separating from Uranus, so there can be random explosive fights or outbursts because of this restlessness, this feeling around something is wrong, something's got to change, something's got to change, something's got to change. And you do need to be conscious, and you'll notice I keep talking about these themes around electricity and electric bolts simply because that is what Uranus rules. And the thing about this week is that sometimes that electric current that is pulsing within us, sometimes we can accidentally electrify the wrong thing, essentially. Like you could be driving to work just like, oh, I can't believe I have to go here again. I'm so sick of it. I'm so over this. Someone cuts you off and you have a reaction. Like it's always important to be mindful with Mars separating from Uranus. That happened last weekend. It's always important to be mindful of your temperament, important to be mindful of your responses. But maybe that final straw around something that just frustrates you or electrifies you or activates you, make you realize, no, I need change. Like I cannot keep driving this freaking commute to this freaking job. Like something has got to change. And it's so funny, the sun opposite Uranus as well as the new moon in Scorpio, because this is occurring in fixed signs. So fixed signs are Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius. These are the signs that are in the middle of a season. They are essentially about maintaining. Like we are in Scorpio season. I am in the northern hemisphere, so it is currently fall. Scorpio season is in the middle of fall. It maintains fall. It's the same season as we enter Scorpio. It's the same season as we exit Scorpio. Fixed signs, that's why they are typically very loyal, dependable, very steady individuals. They don't love change. So it's pretty funny that this essentially new moon is almost like dislodging these parts of us that could have felt very, very stuck and like very, very stagnant around clinging to things, even if we knew it was not serving us, even if we knew every time we were on the commute, on the way to this job, like, this is not it, like I need to do something different. Sometimes something just awakens within you where you're like, okay, enough. It has been enough, right? I've been wanting change. I've been hitting the snooze bell on this alarm clock that's been dinging within me around change. And this is sort of a new moon around, I'm going to welcome in that change. And it is hard. It is a grieving. It's Scorpio season. As we essentially invite in these flows of the new into our world, we have to make peace with the certainty that things within our life are changing and evolving. But there just feels to be something that's awakening within you where you're like, okay, enough. Enough is enough. I cannot keep doing this commute. I cannot keep pretending to be this person. I cannot keep pretending that I don't want something different from my life. Enough. And I want to let you know, you are incredibly guided and protected during this time of what is baking within you, of what is awakening within you around where it is that you are wanting change, around where it is that you're feeling frustrated, like your life is a sweater that no longer fits and you just want to explode out of it, right? You are guided within that because also this week we have a Mars Cazimi, which is empowering us to take action on what is baking within us around where it is that we're wanting change. And then that Mars Cazimi trines Neptune, which is really signaling that we are being supported during this time. Like the universe cannot do your push-ups for you. The universe can put in all of the signs and the synchronicities into your pathway. It could be giving you all of the resistance. It cannot make you change. It cannot make you follow those signs or follow your bliss or follow where the next chapter of your life is taking you. It can only essentially put you in the pathway of essentially the inspiration and the alignment and the resistance that is signaling to you your next steps. Because oftentimes when we're in those fixed grooves of behavior, right, where we are in this routine of doing something, even if it doesn't serve us, and we are kind of doing it with gritted teeth, right? Like we're in that commute, just like, I freaking hate this job. This is gonna be my life forever. And you're just like driving with gritted teeth, just like, I hate this job. This is gonna be my life forever. When you're in that gritted perspective around just feeling so frustrated and wanting change, but just feeling so stuck within your reality, you're not looking around. Like the universe could be like, look at that billboard right there of the company that your friend works at that happened to list your dream job last week. You're not paying attention. Or even when you're in the break room with your coworkers and you're like, God, I just want a different job. And one of your coworkers mentions this job board, like, hey, have you tried this particular job board? And you're like, whatever, the job market's crappy anyway. I'm just gonna be stuck in this job until I die. Why would I even check? Or when you're driving home and you just get this random nudge around, I should go. Like, I think my friend told me that business networking event this night. Should I go? It kind of is on my way home, but you ignore it because you're just like, my life sucks. This job sucks. Like oftentimes when we're so rooted within the problem, it's hard to see where the universe is sending us the solution. And it speaks to us oftentimes through whispers and signs and synchronicities. But what's important within this week is that when the call comes, you must answer. Like we have the Sun and Mars trining Neptune, but nevertheless, it's Mars. Mars is not a planet where we could just sit back and someone's going to knock at the door and be like, here's a dream job so you can quit that awful job with that horrible commute that you hate so much. It's a sort of energy where it will essentially speak to you through this strong motivation or this weird sign, but you have to take charge. You have to see the billboard and look that up. You need to take what your coworker was saying about that job board and put your resume on it. You need to go to that business networking event. Like Mars is about action, inspired action, because Neptune is trining, but nevertheless, taking action. So it's not enough to just want change. You have to take action in the ways that are going to put you in the pathway for that change to come. This is not a week that is about, I want change, universe bring me change. It's like, if you make that intention around, I want to change my reality, you better look at your world with fresh eyes and be open and willing to take action in order to get yourself out of this groove, out of this fixed pattern of behavior that is no longer serving you, because your life does not change until you do. And the powerful thing about this week is that this week is giving you the foundation to change your reality. So that's what I was saying. Caution with this new moon, because you could accidentally quantum leap into a brand new timeline, like when it comes to this sort of astrology, if you answer the call. It's important to take the action of picking up the phone if the universe is calling you. So we will be taking a deeper dive into this week's astrology thematically as well as day by day. But before we do, take a step inside my Cosmic Cafe. Let me know what you are sipping on to start your week. Are you in that Neptunian vibe, drinking something calming and mystical? Are you in the Uranian vibe, drinking something new and novel and exciting? I am sitting here with a companion, but also a nemesis, a friend and a foe. I am in the most toxic on and off relationship with Celsiuses. I love them, I hate them, I swear them off, I buy them again. I'm on just a roller coaster ride with these things and I just cannot get away from them. But my excuse today is firstly, it's the fantasy vibe flavor, which how appropriate is that with the Neptune energy that we're experiencing this week? Secondly, I am just so exhausted. I have not been sleeping this week like at all. Here in the US, most states we had a time change and it just changed just 1 hour. So I know I'm being so dramatic, but I'm a Virgo moon and rising. My routines are my reality. And for some reason, this hour time change has just disrupted. It's thrown all my rhythms off. For some reason, I'm constantly exhausted, but I'm not sleeping. Like last night, I was up until 3:30 a.m. on Zillow looking for places to move because I had just decided in the late night hours, which by the way, you never see anything clearly in the late night. I just decided, well, I just need to move. I just need to move. I need to change my entire reality. Everything is wrong. I need to move. I need to find a new place to live. And by the way, the catalyst for my late night Zillow deep dive was simply because my neighbor was walking around above me and I really hear a lot of their steps. Again, people are allowed to step. I'm just curious why there was that much movement at 3 a.m. All I'm asking, obviously I would never say anything. You have the full agency. I'm not paying your rent. Okay, live your truth. Step it out. Okay, I'm just curious why we're putting on like tap dancing routines at 3 a.m. That's my only question. It was just in the middle of the night and you do not see things clearly in the middle of the night. And my response to this was like, well, clearly I just need to move. Clearly, I just need to move somewhere else and change my entire life. And then I woke up and I was like, wait, I might actually not have to. Scratch that. So anyways, that's why I'm drinking a Celsius, because that's what I was up to last night. And then I woke up this morning at 5 a.m. So that's my excuse for getting back into my Celsius habits. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take it into our vibe check of the week. So here in vibe check of the week, we essentially translate all of the celestial energies that we are navigating within this week's astrology to a real life scenarios. So even if you don't speak the language of what it means that Sun opposes Uranus, that we have a Mars Cazimi and a Scorpio New Moon, we essentially translate that language into the language of, have you ever felt something like this? Have you ever known someone like this? Have you ever had a situation like this? So that you can tune into how this energy may come to the surface within your reality. So come with me on this journey. So in this week's vibe check, we are going to say that you own a spiritual boutique. You own a spiritual boutique where you craft candles and oils and crystal grid maps and pendulum. You create all of these cool materials for people's spiritual practices. You created this boutique because it's something that you are really passionate about. And while you love it and you love what you do, you are in a very challenging season of your business, because that is something to keep in mind with whatever it is that you are navigating within your reality. We all have seasons, and I feel that diving into astrology gives us this allowance that life does have its seasons. Relationships have seasons, times that we feel super bonded and super connected, and times that we're craving a little bit more space. Businesses have seasons, times that we cannot keep up with the demand of all these people who want these candles, and times that things are a little bit slower. And something that's super helpful for me in dialing into astrology is to understand that it's a season and to relax into that flow. Like for me, whenever things have been slow business-wise, rather than be like, oh my gosh, it's all over, Healy Comet astrology is over, it's all over, rather than getting into that panic and thinking that this down is like the descent into nothing and ruin and everything's going to be the worst and it's going to be a catastrophe. You know, you're going to want to guard against that line of thinking. We are still in Scorpio season, so you're going to want to be be mindful of going down that self-destructive pathway around feeling this descent, wherever it is that you're observing it, just feeling this down, right? And thinking, well, this is the end for me. Well, this is it. Well, this is it. And so rather than allowing that to be like, okay, well, this is it. Like, I haven't got an order all day. Clearly it's all downhill for me. Clearly I'm a flop. Clearly I'm in my flop era. Rather than viewing it like that, when you view it in the lens of seasons and when you allow yourself to relax into the flow, it helps you stay awake to other opportunities. Like for me, if there is like kind of a slow or a lull, to me, I look around, I'm like, okay, the universe must be slowing down this arena of my life to have me pay attention to this other arena. What can I do with this time? How can I optimize one of my other projects or work on this new project or what have you? How can I relax into the ebb and flow rather than panicking at the ebb, being like, oh my God, is it going to come back? Is it ever going to flow again? It is. It's about grabbing the season, understanding the season, and looking around to stay open to, okay, where is the universe guiding me now that, people aren't buying as many of my candles or as much of my incense? Is this the time that I can work on redesigning my website? Is this the time that I should really dial in my marketing funnel? Is this a time that I should be focusing on content creation? Like, rather than feeling the lull and panicking, getting that scarcity around, I just need orders, I just need things to quicken right now, ask yourself, what if the universe is gifting me this essentially slowdown? What if it's gifting me the space and time to address other elements of my business that I'm not able to when the orders are coming in hot and I'm having to ship out these candles? Okay, relax into the flow and seeing, okay, universe, where would you have me go? And again, maybe you don't experience that within business, but it's just so important to keep in mind that if you are feeling a lull or someone draw back energy from you or something occur, rather than panicking and going deeper, ask yourself like, okay, what is the universe signaling? Is there somewhere else that I need to be putting my time, energy, and awareness? That's definitely something to be keeping in mind with Mars trine Neptune. But let's continue on through the vibe check. So we'll say you're in that slowdown and you haven't quite gotten to that Neptunian state of mind quite yet. You're still in that panic, right? Because Scorpio, like I said, it's a fixed sign. There can be an energy around wanting to cling, wanting to be like, why can't everything be like that June when I literally was running out of boxes because so many people were selling candles and I had to go to the post office every single day to drop off candles. Why can't every month be like that June? I must be a flop. I must be a failure. And beyond even just the slowdown of not as many orders coming in, there's also all of these issues that are coming up within your business around, you keep shipping out packages and the few orders that are coming in, and then they're arriving damaged, like your candles are being shattered, and then you have to send them another candle and you're like losing money having to set out all this extra product. There are packages that are getting stolen, like it'll say delivered and then the individual never receives it. Again, you're taking a loss. And you got a bad review from someone whose product came damaged even though you swore you would make it right. Like, you feel like you want to explode. And there is a temptation within you around, should I just quit? Because you're looking at it and you're like, listen, I am working pretty much every hour of the day. There are some months that I am losing money due to all of the issues that I am experiencing. All of my products went up. Like, there are some issues that I am experiencing. I'm putting my blood, sweat, and tears into this, and I don't feel like I'm getting anything out of it. Obviously, it is something that I'm passionate about, but I need change. And again, that sentiment, I need change, something needs to change, it can just be essentially woven through the energy that you experience within this week. Again, you could feel called to change a dynamic, you could feel called to change a job, you could feel called to change a relationship, you could feel called to change a mental pattern. There's just this vibration around something's got to change. And part of you within the vibe check, you just want to burn the whole thing down. Listen, Scorpio season. You're wanting to burn the whole thing down. Before you do though, you decide that you're going to go for a walk. Now you walk most of the time and randomly one day you just get this random nudge. You're just like, I should go a different way. You usually just do your 1.5 mile walk so that you can get back to ship out the rest of the orders, but no orders came in today. So you're like, why not just go for a longer walk? And again, you're annoyed, you're frustrated, you're almost on the brink of tears because you're just so annoyed with so many facets of your business. It does not seem worth it anymore. Something's got to change. And you're so sad seeing this labor of love, this passion project devolve into this pain in your neck. That is so frustrating. And you don't know what needs to change, but you know something needs to change. And you're not ready nor in the headspace to tackle all of that, but you decide to answer the call around, okay, whatever, I'll just go for a longer walk. It'll be helpful to blow off steam. That honestly might be helpful just with Mars still separating from Uranus and the Mars Cazimi. It's always good to move some physical energy so that you don't feel those lower vibration of Uranus energies, which can sometimes be explosive outbursts, things of the nature. So you go for this long walk, and as you're walking through your town, you observe this boutique that you've never seen before. And you're like, huh. And you just have this feeling within you around, I should go inside. I should just go inside and see what's there. And again, there's the other part of your brain that's like, no, you need to finish this walk and get back. Maybe you should try another Facebook ad to drive more orders. Maybe you should make more candles to manifest more orders coming in. There's this voice within you around, no, you don't have time to just go into a boutique midday. You got to get home. You got to get home. But there's this other nudge. It's like, just go in. Just see what's there. And so you go in, and it's a spiritual boutique. The products are so aligned with what it is that you create. Now, they don't have the exact products that you create, but the branding, the aesthetic, the vibe, the intention is so aligned with what it is that you create. And honestly, it's making you feel inspired again. And there's only one other person in the shop, and they welcome you in. And typically you're someone where you're like, okay, just gotta get in and get out, gotta get back to work, gotta hustle and grind, make all these candles, run more ads. I don't have time nor the resources just to be dilly-dallying in a random boutique. But for some reason, you just feel this nudge. You're like, you should introduce yourself to this person. So you introduce yourself to this individual. It just so happens that it's a shop owner. So you ask them, how long has this boutique been open? I love your stuff. You guys just get into this really lovely conversation. It's very high vibe. You tell this individual how much you're about what it is that they sell. And again, this makes you uncomfortable. You're not somebody who loves sales or pitching yourself at all, but the flow of conversation is so organic that you decide to mention, like, I actually have a spiritual line of products if you would want to see. And you show her your Instagram, and she gasps. She sees what you see. It's like your guys' branding, your aesthetic is very, very aligned. And she's like, oh my gosh, you make pendulums. I was thinking about ordering some pendulums for the shop. Let's set up a meeting. And it just so happens that that fateful meeting helps transform the course of your business into being something that is more in person rather than shipping out all of these packages that are going missing, that are getting broken. You start doing events at this shop. You start getting in contact with other boutique owners. You never even contemplated selling things in person. You thought online was the only way. That's the thing. Even when something's not serving us, when we're so in that stubborn frame of mind around just need to hustle and grind to do it my way, the hard way, even if it's not working, I just need to keep going this way. Sometimes if you're experiencing all this resistance, sometimes you just need to take a moment to be like, okay, universe, why am I experiencing this resistance? Is there another path for me? And in this vibe check, there was, but it only was presented to you when you answered the call. And that situation came through a lot of little nudges. There was like that nudge around, you should go for a long walk. And again, you could have hit snooze on that, just be like, you don't have time. You have to get back to your business and start cranking out more candles. You had that nudge around, you should pop into that boutique. And you answered that call. You had that nudge around, you should start a conversation with this person. You had that nudge around, you should just mention your products. And that's alignment. That is flow. That is flowing with the cosmos. Rather than forcing, experiencing all this resistance, being so dead set that your company must be online and that you need to do it yourself, you listen to where the universe was directing you. Listen, there's an easier way. We've got you. We know the love you put into your products. We know what it is that you're here to do. There's an easier way. Listen to the cosmos. Listen to the signs. Listen to the synchronicities. So I'm not saying all of us need to start our own spiritual boutique. And I'm not saying that every single walk that you take can change your life and the trajectory of your business and the trajectory of your purpose. And I'm not saying for every single soul, this week is going to be the most life-changing week of your life, okay? That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that there is opportunities to disrupt fixed grooves that we have been in that no longer serve us. Oftentimes with fixed energy, we could be so stubborn around, no, it needs to be this way. And we experience resistance. We just keep on pushing and hustling. And listen, we have a Mars Cazimi. Sometimes we do have to work hard. We do have to advocate. We do have to put ourselves out there. But observing when you're experiencing a lot of resistance, because sometimes the universe speaks to you around things that are flowing in alignment and inspiration, and sometimes it speaks to you through resistance. And like taking that moment this week to be like, could there possibly be an easier way? Could I flirt with the idea that there could be an easier way? Because sometimes fixed energy can be very dead set around, I need to do things my way, the hard way, even though this is not serving me to be making all these candles and to hear that my candles are breaking every single day. I'm just going to continue to do the same thing over and over and over again until we have that energy where it's like, maybe I could do something different. So your homework assignment, and yes, I'm assigning homework today, okay, but you didn't know when you were clicking on Magic Monday that you were gonna have a homework assignment. But your assignment this week is to do something that is new. This can be taking a new class. This can be walking a new way. This can be establishing a new routine, sleeping on the other side of the bed, trying a new food, doing something that disrupts the flow of the ordinary and the mundane. And you might be saying, Haley, Comet, but that's so inconsequential. If I'm sleeping on the other side of the bed, if I read before going to sleep rather than watching a television show, if I walk a different way on my way back from class or what have you. But what if I told you that sometimes the most minor shifts can be the most significant, because it's less so about the actual activity, the actual sleeping on the other side of the bed, the actual different routine, the actual different path that you take to get back from class. It's more so around when you do something different, your brain shifts, you notice more, you see more. Because unfortunately, I'm an astrologer, not a neuroscientist, so I'm going to butcher a lot of the understanding of this. But from my understanding of the brain, when we do things that are very grooved, like our routine, every single day, you do this and you do this, your brain functions at a particular, essentially, brainwave. When you do something different, it puts your brain into a different, essentially, state of cognition or in perception, where you start to notice different things. And when you are noticing different things, when you're in that novel, essentially, perspective, that is the essentially breeding ground for creativity. Like, you never know what new ideas could be launched from that, or new solutions that can be essentially awakened when you step outside of the problem. So that is your assignment this week. It doesn't have to be big. You don't have to change your whole life. You don't have to stay up on Zillow until 3:30 a.m. convincing yourself you're gonna move, okay? But your job is to find opportunities to breathe in a little bit of novelty within your world and to remind yourself that change is possible. Observe the resistance, observe the flow and alignment. A lot of times the universe speaks to you through where you're experiencing a lot of resistance, where you feel like you're just hitting your head against the wall, getting the same results every single day, and what doors are aligning, what doors are shifting and opening for you, and knowing that you have the ability to change your life. And it's really owning that agency and owning that power. It's Scorpio season after all. And on that note of inviting in the flow of the new into our universe, I want to make an announcement that I am launching some brand new readings, brand new offerings just in time for the holiday season, just in case you want to put on your wish list or give the gift of celestial exploration. I am so excited to chat with you about it. I just want to say firstly, last week I had shared that I'm working on this really big heart-centered project that's consuming a lot of my time and energy. These readings are not that. I just want to make that clear. The new readings and offerings are being born out of essentially this realization that I am a chatty girl. This Gemini midheaven has a lot to say, and I also really, really enjoy connecting with you all. I swear, on these consultations, I have so many amazing conversations with you all. It just feels like gabbing with a friend about the cosmos, about your soul purpose, you know, no big deal. And I'm just realizing, like, when the call ends, I just get like so sad. I'm like, oh, can we like go get a coffee? Can we just like keep chit-chatting? But I'm just realizing that the ideal exploration into your chart would ideally be trifold. Like, it would ideally be 3 consultations. Like, I'm just realizing that one consultation is not enough to cover all of your chart. I could quite literally talk to you about your chart for like 8 hours. There's so much to your chart. And I'm just realizing that if somebody really wants to understand the entirety of it, I'm just realizing one consultation is not enough. Again, I'm never putting out the expectation that you need to book with me 3 times. I just wanted to make an offering for a pathway for somebody who wants to kind of dive deeper into their natal chart in sort of a sequential way. You can also just buy these as one-offs. Let's say you're on a certain stage of your journey where you already understand the basics. I basically basically designed these readings where you can essentially enter at the entry point around where it is that you are really desiring working with your chart or understanding your chart. So there are 3 readings. You could buy them singularly, you could gift them to a friend, or you can save when you purchase all 3, and that can be used at any point in time that you want. So the pathway is this. First, we start with Ignite. This is an ideal reading if there is somebody within your universe who really doesn't know their chart that much. Basically, this is about igniting your journey towards understanding your natal chart. So it helps you understand each of your placements, essentially each of your house emphases. It really helps you dive into understanding your soul, understanding your chart, and igniting your astrological journey. Now that we understand the basics of the natal chart, Illuminate takes you to the next level by understanding what aspects of yourself are being sharpened into focus through transits and through progressions. It's both about looking at where your life is demanding outer evolution, but also where your inner evolution is taking place, which helps you understand why it is at this point in time, this Mercury in Pisces is really something you're feeling called to dive into, or why this inherent tension of your Saturn being the apex of your T-square is feeling so frustrating. Like illuminating the transits, both outer as well as inner, can illuminate where it is that you are currently on your journey. And then the final step of the journey is Inspire. So this is a conversation all about how to align with and actualize your chart. So this is the action steps. Now that we understand the major themes of your chart that we explored within Ignite, we understand the season of life that you're in currently that we explored in Illuminate. Inspire is all about what are we going to do about it? What is the pathway forward? What are the next steps essentially on this journey? So again, you can purchase any of these individually. You could jump in at the pathway that makes sense to you. Let's say if you already understand the basics of your chart and want to jump into Illuminate, or let's say you're like, okay, Haley, I really need to inspire my chart because I get it, but what do I do about it? You're welcome to jump in at a particular reading. All of these readings are available within gift card format, so you can send that link to somebody and just be like, hint, hint, for the holiday season that's coming up. But again, you get savings if you purchase all 3 as a bundle. So each individually is $133, but if you purchase all 3, you get all readings for a bundle of $333. So you save quite a bit there. Thank you so much for listening to all of that. I'm going to take you into our day-by-day analysis. I want to let you know before we go on this journey that all times that I mention are PST. Please adjust to your time zone before putting into your planner. I do have a tendency to talk quite quickly. Feel free to play with the playback speed in order to adjust the rate of my speaking to the rate of your processing. And all timestamps are available below to jump to a particular day or to jump back to a particular day. Without further ado, let's go ahead and take it into Monday, November 13th, aka Scorpio New Moon Day. So happy Monday and happy Scorpio New Moon at that. So the Scorpio New Moon exacts at 1:27 a.m. PST. Now, on the same day as the new moon, Sun opposes Uranus exactly. So Uranus is absolutely baked into this lunation. And when we just bring to the surface Scorpio Sun opposing Uranus with a new moon, there's basically this opportunity, and a unique opportunity at that, to be able to disrupt, uproot, or revolutionize certain arenas of our outer, Uranus is in Taurus, what's very physical, and our inner, Moon, Sun, and Mars are in Scorpio, or our inner psychological reality. And the thing about Taurus and Scorpio is, as I highlighted, these are fixed signs. And fixed signs are amazing in their loyalty, their devotion, their consistency, but my gosh, are they stubborn? And this new moon asks you, are you being stubborn about defending or protecting aspects of your reality, even if you know that they are not serving you? For example, let's say you know that the entire commute ride over to your job that you don't want to go. You know that every time anyone will listen, your coworkers, your loved ones, you're talking about how much you hate your job. You know that every time you walk into that godforsaken building, your heart sinks. You know all of this. But sometimes when someone proposes a solution, it's like, hey, have you tried this or have you looked at this? There could still be this energy around being on the defensive, around, well, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work. Or even being on energy around, well, you don't understand what it's like. You're identifying so much with your current circumstances that you're refusing to even contemplate that one day it could be different for you. And this new moon is about believing that change can occur. Sometimes when we're so rooted into these fixed grooves of behavior, of our relationship, of our job, of our health, whatever it is, whatever is coming up for you, sometimes when we're so in that routine, we forget to contemplate, oh wait, things could change. There could be a Monday morning that I'm not walking into this office. There could be a day that it doesn't take me 2 hours to drive home. Maybe that day's not here, but part of this new moon is about believing that change can happen. Because again, when you're in that defensive standpoint, you could be blocking off the universe around, no, I don't want to see the billboards. I don't want to hear suggestions from my friends. This is my job. I don't like it, but this is my reality, and that's that. And I'm not going to listen to anyone else. I'm just going to keep on doing it this way, my way, the hard way. La 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 la. Which, keep in mind, Mercury's in Sagittarius, so are people kind of giving a lot of unprovoked advice, kind of on their high horse around telling you what's what? Absolutely, which can be frustrating, right? But being mindful not to block off individuals or advice or insights that could be literal conduits from the universe. And before you slip into that defensive mode, because it's natural, as human beings, we're going to defend around, okay, well, I have to do this. Like in my vibe check in the candle business, when someone tells you, have you ever looked at boutiques? You could automatically be thinking of excuses of why you can't do it that way around, there's no way any boutiques would want to carry my products. What about this? What about that? Because you're almost defending your reality, even if it's not serving you. Part of this new moon is about believing, what if there could be an easier way? What if I could believe in a reality where there was an easier way? Because it's also worth noting that with the energy of Scorpio, the reason within the vibe check, it's about, merging with their business and revolutionizing yours, is the energy of Scorpio is about merging, right? And so if there have been certain things that have been on your shoulders, certain labor that has been on your shoulders, certain responsibilities that has been in your shoulders, and you just feel like, well, this is my lot in life, so I just have to keep calm and muscle on. The Scorpio new moon asks you to get creative around how you can merge with like-minded individuals, how you can empower others in order to support your initiatives to free up more of your time. And listen, the universe works in some magical ways, okay? This new moon is about believing in miracles, particularly if there's been a problem within your life that you just feel completely stuck on. Be open to miracles in any way that miracles can meet you, whether that comes through an investor, a business partner, being able to hire somebody who helps you with certain tasks. Empower new solutions. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you will keep getting what it is that you have been getting. And when it comes to Scorpio new moon, it trines Neptune. So yes, the cosmos is aligning miracles for you. But you need to take action on the miracles. The universe can put that billboard there that is, you don't know it at the time, but it is fundamentally advertising the next place that you will work at, and you will be so happy there. But it can't make you open your phone and Google that company and look if there's any openings. The universe can put your coworkers into a pathway to mention this job board that your dream job is there, but it cannot make you apply. The universe can give you that little nudge around, oh, I should take a longer walk today, but it cannot make you go in the boutique. But again, magic is occurring. Situations are aligning. And one thing I want you to know, because this new moon, I feel what's coming up for a lot is this has been like an ongoing problem. Like there has been a whisper within you around something's got to change, something's got to change, something's got to change. But it's again this stubborn rigidity to it around, well, it's always going to be like this. It feels like with the new moons trine to Neptune, it's almost this energy around situations and circumstances had to align. That's why it had to take so long. There's other people involved. There's many moving parts. The person at your dream job had to meet their soulmate and they had to have a baby and move somewhere else. That's why the dream job was open. Like sometimes it involves other moving parts, and your job is to make sure you are paying attention, and you will know when it's right. Like with this new moon trining Neptune, believe in miracles, believe in signs, believe in synchronicities, and believe in your own intuition, and even just the electricity that is in the air, the restlessness. Like I said, this new moon, it's going to be big shifts for some and minor shifts for others, but for a lot of us, there's this charged electricity in the air around remembering that anything can happen, that change is possible, that miracles can happen. And when we consider the merging component of the Scorpio new moon that I was talking about, and especially with its trine to Neptune, remember that you are not in this alone, and you can only see as far as your own vantage point. And sometimes when we're in our own vantage point, we're in our own perspective. We can even be in our own ego. Even if we're defending something that's actually poisoning our life, we could still defend it as though in some weird way it's an antidote, right? So even when we know it's not bringing goodness into our life, but we're still like, no, can't do that, like knocking down everybody's ideas. Part of the Scorpio new moon is being open to receive advice, feedback, and support from other people. With the new moon trine Neptune, ask the universe for support. Ask the universe for a sign or for a nudge. Like, it can be frustrating when you're seeing all of these signs and synchronicities and part of you is like, no, but this is the path that needs to be online. But the universe is like, let us help you. There is an easier way. This is going to radicalize your business and 10x your numbers and make you reach way more people in a more local variety. And it's going to be so much more aligned for you. But you're like, no, it's going to be this way. Let people help you, because there can be an egoic attachment to, this is the direction my business needs to take. This is the direction my life needs to take. This is the direction that my relationship needs to take, what have you. Whereas the universe is aligning things for you. And as well as sometimes people are angels. They are conduits from the universe. So also observing when people give you advice, when people give you feedback, what would it look like if the universe had aligned that particular conversation for a reason? Don't be so identified with the problem that you forget to flirt with and play with the idea of a solution, which I know it seems silly. Like, why would we fiercely defend something that we know does not serve us, but we do it every single day of our lives? At least I do. This is something I really struggle with. This is something I really struggle with. I think part of the resistance to do so is because when we allow support from others or advice from others, we are essentially contemplating like, okay, I really don't know it all. Because you don't. You don't. You know a lot, okay? You know a lot, but you don't know it all. And that's okay. That's why we have connection. That's why we have partnerships. That's why we have spirit source energy. We're in life school, okay? And you could be unknowingly making yourself repeat the same grade of life school over and over and over again when the universe is trying to test you out to get to the next level. But you're like, nope, I got to do this particular lesson. I've got to do it right. I've got to get the grade that I want to do. Let's do it again. Let's do it again, until you're just hitting your head against the wall over and over and over again. Does that sound insane? Yes, but a lot of us do it. And so when it comes to the Scorpio new moon, not everybody needs to quit their job, break up with their spouse, make these huge shifts, but believe that shifts can happen, okay? Because they do at every moment in time, no matter how static or consistent this problem or this scenario has felt. This new moon is about believing that you have the power, again, this new moon conjoins Mars, to change your reality, and that the universe is aligning you to the circumstances that will help you change both your inner as well as your outer reality. So when it comes to this new moon, not everybody needs to work with it. If you're chilling, like, you can honor the Scorpio new moon, but I don't want you to feel like you have to manifest with every single new moon. This is the new moon for people who really want shakeups. Like, this new moon is for the souls who are kind of sick of themselves and kind of sick of their lives a little bit and like really want a shakeup. They're really observing like, hey, I am stuck in this loop. It's like Groundhog's Day. Maybe it's this circumstance, maybe it's this pattern, maybe it's this habit, but I have been so in this rut that I've begun to think that this is going to be my permanent reality. And this new moon is about empowering change and shaking things up, doing things differently, because you do have the ability to do so. Oftentimes, whenever we talk about Scorpio energy, we talk about the psyche and what's beneath the surface. And it's always so humbling when you realize that to a certain degree, sometimes the common denominator is you. Like, I know for me, a lot of times I would really want this changed. I'm like, I swear, as soon as this occurs, I'm going to be different. As soon as this occurs, I'm going to be different. But the same circumstances, different people, different scenarios kept occurring. And I was like, why am I doing the same thing over and over again? And you're like, oh, this might be a me thing. Like, this might be a me thing. That's why I'm emphasizing both inner psychological as well as outer change. Because a lot of times you can change the scenario, you can get a new job, or you can jump into a different relationship, you can move somewhere else, but wherever you go, there you are. That's why this new moon asks for a change of both inner as well as outer reality. Listen, this week's astrology is like me subtweeting myself, okay? I need to learn this. Listen, I never want it to come off when I'm sitting down and telling you the forecast. Keep in mind, this is coming from somebody who is absolutely failing certain lessons of life school herself. So it's never me coming from this higher, holier than thou pedestal. I am right in here with you all. I know you guys know that, but I just want to make that clear because Mercury's in Sagittarius and I never want you guys to feel like I'm acting like I've got it all figured out, because I don't. I most certainly do not. And this week's astrology is a subtweet at me, okay? And so part of this new moon is about believing that you can change. I can change. We can change, okay? It's not going to be easy, but there's this energy with this new moon around awakening a new perspective, around seeing the situation differently and seeing ourselves differently. When we talk about Uranus, some astrologers consider it the higher octave of Mercury. Mercury, of course, being about communication and intellect, and Uranus being a very genius energy. So again, invite in new perspectives because our world does not change unless we do. And there's part of this new moon around what would it look like to view this problem through fresh eyes. Sometimes when we're just in the thick of it, making these candles, sending them out, even if they're breaking every single day, if someone were to come in, they could just be like, you should get new packing material. Sometimes the solution can be that easy, where it's like, you don't need to make it this hard. Like there can be an easier way. Let's get different packing materials so that the candles stop breaking. Let's look to multiple boutiques. Like part of this new moon, whether it's literally getting feedback from other people, asking for support from the universe, or even just looking at the situation through novel eyes, like looking at the situations that you are ensnared in around what would an outsider say about this. So whether it's embracing other people's perspectives, embracing where the universe is sending you, as well as seeing where it is that you can look at the situation through novel eyes. And that's where that homework assignment that I gave you earlier around just doing something different within your routine, that's what helps us awaken this higher perspective around viewing the situation differently in minor ways. If you want to change the big things, start changing the little things, because that is truly a ripple effect that echoes into many other aspects of your life, where it just might so happen that having that new routine where you breathe rather than check your phone when you go into your office, there might just be a random light bulb moment where you're like, rather than sending out all these extra candles every single month, let me research to find better packing materials. Like sometimes little shifts help us disrupt these fixed grooves and help us move towards the sensation of ease and really with the trine to Neptune flow. So as you navigate Monday, like I said, not everybody has to work with this new moon. And typically I do a new moon and full moon forecast for every single lunation. Like I said, big heart-centered project that I'm working on, so I don't have the space to do that. But what I do want to say about this new moon is that if you do feel inspired to work with it, definitely spending time by the water would be powerful, as it is a Scorpio new moon, trining Neptune, doing something different as I highlighted with the opposition to Uranus, as well just envisioning a novel perspective, tapping into major shakeups, major transformations in both your external circumstances, totally aligned to contemplate that new job and that new relationship, that new what have you, but equally commit to the change that has to happen underneath the surface, that you don't get stuck in the same pattern. Different characters, different scenarios, same patterns. This is a time to revolutionize both inner and outer. So in navigating Monday, let's be real. Scorpio sun and moon, we could be feeling a little dramatic. Things can be feeling a little intense. With the energy of sun opposite Uranus, there could be a restlessness brewing. People can be behaving a little unusually. Like I said, over the weekend, Mars opposed Uranus. There could be random outbursts. You could be feeling these random flare-ups of frustration where you drive to work every single day, but today that person cutting you off just awakened all of this anger within you where it's like, why am I even working here? What am I doing? And you know, people can be behaving a little erratic. It could be a little unstable. Emotions can feel all over the place and a little volatile, right, with the Scorpio energy. And what I also want to highlight is that your authenticity is guiding you towards the new beginning. I think that's the goal, to craft a life that is a genuine reflection of you and the person that you are and the passions that you have and the quirks that you have. That is the goal, to design a life that truly celebrates you, that truly just allows you to be your own person. Like that is the goal, that is the aim. And so with sun opposite Uranus, it's almost like finding this peace between essentially your weirdness being over here and what it is that you feel like you have to project being over here, and acknowledging what if the two could be fused. Because like I said, Scorpio is a very polarizing energy, and with the opposition to Uranus, there can be a certain energetic awakening within some around maybe the reason my life isn't a genuine reflection of what's on my heart and what's on my soul and what's in my chart is that I have not made peace with it myself. I have not embraced my quirks. I have not embraced what makes me different. Now, when it comes to oppositions, it's not necessarily the easiest flow of energy. There could be this emphasis between the two and this desire perhaps to pull them together in order to initiate this brand new beginning around driving to work, having this long commute, and like contemplating what would a world look like where I didn't feel like I had to live a double life, like be at this godforsaken office that I hate and then come home and be able to dive into my passions and my nuances and what it is that I'm into. What if I had a workplace where my creativity, my out of the box thinking was celebrated? What would it look like for those worlds to merge? Because again, when you can find those worlds to merge, when you get paid to be yourself, when you get to craft and design a life that celebrates you and works with your energy in the way your energy is meant to work, like that is the magic. So it's also just observing, where are you battling with yourself via trying to suppress what makes you weird, via trying to suppress your eccentricities. Editing Haley here. I just wanted to interject and add to this conversation because later in the video I talk about how with Sun trine Neptune, I truly do believe that each and every one of our souls is being called upon to help the planet, to ease the suffering of others in, with Sun opposite Uranus, unique, even weird ways. And I want to let you know, if you have already donated as much as you have the capacity to donate to help the individuals within Palestine, there's a couple of weird Uranian ways that you can still support. So one being, there's a TikTok creator, I'm going to link her below. She has an entire playlist where she's donating all of the revenue generated from the filters. You can make just a TikTok, you can even have it private and use one of the filters, as well as watching the essentially videos in the 5 Seconds to Help Palestine playlist. You can even leave it on a loop. I've just been leaving it on when I go to sleep and leaving it in a different room. It's also a great way to get off your phone. But anyways, so you could watch that. You could use the filters. There's like a little game that you can play where all of the revenue goes to Anera, which is an organization that is helping donate essentially food and hygiene kits to Palestine. Another way, with Uranus and Taurus, be intentional about which companies you support. Like a great way to rebel, Uranus, is via your dollar, Taurus. So be intentional with the companies that you choose to buy from, ensuring that your values and their values are essentially in integrity is another way to support. Weird ways to support, but alas, I don't want you to feel like you cannot make a difference. Like these little actions can make a difference. I just want to share something because this came up when I was having a conversation on Plutonians, and you'll notice within my language in this video a couple of times I've referenced to Uranians, and a couple of you were asking within that video what makes somebody a Plutonian, a Uranian, what have you. So I would consider a Uranian someone who has either Uranus on an angle, so if you see Uranus is right on the ascendant, right on the IC, right on the DC, right on the MC, or if you have Uranus making harsh aspects, that's conjunctions, squares, oppositions to your ascendant ruler or any other really important planet within your chart. I would consider you a Uranian. And same goes for Pluto. If it's on an angle or if it's harshly aspecting a major planet within your chart, I would consider you an archetypal embodiment of that energy. And the Uranians are supposed to be weird. So part of Sun opposite Uranus on Monday is just like healing your weird. There's a little bit of am I an alien sensation on Monday where there's just this energy around, I want something different. I don't want to be here. It's like giving very much beam me up. Beam me up. I should not be at this office. I should not be at this life. I'm not cut out for this. Beam me up. I'm done. But again, you're not done. There's lots of magic that you can create here on Earth. You just need to embolden the changes in order to create a life that you don't feel like you have to be beamed up to escape from. That's ask. And so the new moon lands in the morning. You have the next 3 days to work with the new moon. It lands at 20 degrees Scorpio. So you'll want to see which territory of your chart you have 20 degrees Scorpio to see which powerful new transformation is baking for you in your chart. Now, the closing aspect of the Scorpio moon is a sextile to Pluto at 3:03 p.m. And when the moon is void, important task, we must avoid, okay? So the moon is void from 3:03 to 6:23, at which point it enters Sagittarius. And before you get excited, like, oh good, this means that our emotional landscape is shifting for the positive and the uplifting, it's then greeted by a square to Saturn. So again, there's a restlessness baking on Monday. And And sometimes we have to get so uncomfortable for us to finally be open to accept change or to be open to contemplate a new perspective. Like this is the part of the vibe check where you are just so exasperated. You have just sent out your 6th replacement candle of the day. The bad review has just come in. You've got no sales for the past 3 days and you're just like, for real? Because sometimes you have to get to those scenarios until you're finally like, what if there could be an easier way? What if I could do something different? But those situations are never exactly pleasant. And Monday's astrology isn't exactly pleasant as well. It could just be uncomfortable. Responsibilities are weighing you down. You want to feel free, but you don't feel free. You could just be feeling emotionally blah, drained, defeated, all of the things. And if that comes up, it doesn't mean that this new moon is not still activating you. Sometimes resistance is a sign from the universe. So just acknowledging, where am I experiencing resistance right now and what could it potentially be trying to tell me? So on Tuesday, the 14th, so the Sagittarius moon aligns with Mercury in the morning. So it could be very busy mentally in the morning, a lot of emails, lots of texts, lots of opinions, lots of ideas. Like I've been highlighting with Mercury and Sagittarius, our mind can feel a little bit all over the place, okay? Mercury is answering to Jupiter now. So with the energy of Jupiter, there's a tendency to get lost in the sauce, right? When you're contemplating the big picture, it's easier to let the little details slip. So that is something you're going to want to be mindful of. But with the moon meeting up with Mercury, there can be lots of dialogue happening, interesting perspectives, uplifting advice. Like this would be a day to, even if you're kind of feeling blah from the moon squaring Saturn the day prior, listen to inputs that help you move into a more inspiring direction or a more inspiring vibration. And invite in other people's perspectives and other people's wisdom. Really, I want to say that for Tuesday and Wednesday because Mercury is building to sextile Venus. Invite in wisdom and the answers to your prayers, courtesy of the universe that comes through via other people and their perspectives. And even if you're like, well, Haley, come, I'm just going to work. How am I going to find all this wisdom? Listen to a podcast. If you have to do boring, mundane tasks as you're at that godforsaken office that you don't want to be at and you're counting down the hours until 5 p.m., listen to a podcast. Literally shout out to all the content creators out there, for real, for real. Like when I was so bored at my 9 to 5, so much so that I felt like I could do it in my sleep, that was such a lifeline, was just being able to listen to podcasts and hear different people's perspectives and learn different topics. I know it's such a scary, intense time to be alive, but there are parts of being alive at this particular time that are really cool, that we're able to have access to so many different people's minds. Like at the click of a button. Is pretty fascinating. So if you're in a rut, if you're still feeling grumpy from the night prior's moon square Saturn, listen to podcasts that remind you of the bigger picture. Listen to podcasts that expand your perspective, that give you new information on the line of work that you might want to go into, or that help you see your working world in the season of your life through a new humorous perspective. Like with Moon Mercury, whether wisdom is coming through conversations or coming through content creators on the interwebs, embrace wisdom that comes from others. Again, sometimes people can be vessels for the divine. The divine can find you via podcasts, okay? The divine can find you via YouTube. The divine can find you via your coworker in the break room. You just got to look out for the wisdom that could be trying to reach you. And then shortly after that, because Mercury sextile Venus is building, the Sagittarius moon will sextile Venus in Libra. So remember to take time to enjoy, take time to connect, to find ways to cope with your reality at this moment around, this godforsaken office, but at least I have these coworkers that I can talk crap about this job with, or at least I can have these free lattes at this latte machines, or at least I get to go to these different places, like reaching for the positive if it's available to you, just with the Sagittarius moon. And then that evening, the Sagittarius moon trines Chiron in Aries. So great evening to do something soothing, doing something healing, doing something that brings you back into that optimism, into that enthusiasm around who it is that you are and who it is that you could be. And so yes, emotionally with the moon in Sagittarius, we can be feeling a little bit more uplifted on Tuesday. Good vibes. Maybe it's not ideal, but we are following our arrow around what is inspiring us at this point in time. Like I know for me, when I was at my full-time job, I did not want to be there, but I was following my arrow around. I don't want to be here, but at least I have a job where I can listen to these podcasts and this is really lighting me up and this is giving me some joy within my day to day. You got to follow your arrow around what is exciting me right now. There's a lot with my life that doesn't fit, that doesn't align, but what is exciting me? What is giving me hope? What would be my dream? It's following your arrow around where you are excited, where you are growing, where you are evolving. Like the example I gave with my course, Self-Care Astrology, which just a PS, if anyone has been contemplating jumping in, wait until the new year because I'm super excited with what I am planning and what I am aligning for Self-Care Astrology. So something to keep in mind as you are planning your 2024 vision boards. But anyways, within Self-Care Astrology, when we're talking about the zodiacal wheel and the life cycle of the sign, we refer to Sagittarius as sort of the midlife crisis energy. Like Scorpio is kind of the crisis part of it around who am I? What am I doing? Maybe like a parent is passing away or dealing with grief or loss. And then the energy of Sagittarius is like after you've suffered something big or went through this existential crisis, there's almost this energy where you buy a motorcycle. You travel worldwide where you're just like, life is too short. I got to shake things up. I got to follow my arrow. I got to explore. I got to adventure. Like that's the energy of Sagittarius, is that desire to want to adventure, try something new, make things exciting after those crises or after that existential crisis around where it is that we need change or where it is that we need to disrupt our environment. And so all I want to say is on Tuesday, really following your arrow. What is inspiring you right now? What is making you excited right now? It could be so minor. It could just be that podcast that you're listening to while you're at your job that you know is not your forever. But still, when you follow your arrow, that indicates that you are still showing up for the quest that is your life, for the hero's journey that is you becoming the person that you are meant to be. So follow your arrow wherever it may lead. Truly, I've never heard a car alarm once in my life where someone is actually breaking in. So on Wednesday, November 15th, we have Mercury sextile Venus, and this aspect makes me laugh because as we discussed last week, which PS caught up on last week's Magic Monday here, Mercury is essentially very not dignified right now, and Venus is very dignified, and the two are sort of flirting in the cosmos. And the vibe itself is very flirty. Mercury sextile Venus, we can find that our words are dripping with some honey, okay? Dripping with some sweetness. Like I said, Venus in Libra, it's very, very charming. Like, keep in mind what we were chatting through with the vibe check. It's like, this is kind of stepping into that boutique and starting a conversation, not approaching it through this lens around, take my stuff right away, but just kind of like connecting, charming, learning about the store, matching the energy. Like, again, there is an energy around taking charge of our reality. We have a Mars Cazimi this week. There's this energy around taking action. But with Mercury sextile Venus, remember to engage within conversation. With Venus transiting Libra, our charm and our charisma can be an amazing asset to essentially magnetize what it is that we want. And again, leveraging your ability to read people is also super powerful, especially Venus dignified, Mars dignified. That's why Libra is so powerful. It's cardinal modality, which is associated with taking action, and then an air sign, communication. So they get their way and they take action via communication and via connection. They're really able to match and mirror energy with relative ease. That's really coming through within our communication. So for my sales loves, my realtor loves, all I'm saying, Mercury sextile Venus, you can find that you're more persuasive, you're more sweet, you're more able to meet people and match people on their energy. Now, Mercury's not dignified in Sagittarius, but nevertheless, Sagittarius is also a very uplifting energy. So whether you're giving yourself a pep talk, giving someone else a pep talk, really engage in conversation. And ultimately, to a bigger perspective, remember to flirt with life. Not every single boutique that you will walk in will take your product. And not every single person that you flirt with will be your one and only soulmate, true love. But regardless, it's important to flirt with life. It doesn't make that flirty banter a waste of time. It doesn't make walking to that boutique that wasn't a match for your stuff, that doesn't make it a waste of time. When you are flirting, when you are just engaging in new perspectives, new opportunities, new quests, new connections, you are playing in the realm of possibility. Because like I said, sometimes to see those big shifts, we have to start with little things. Saying yes to dates that we typically would not. Is every single person going to be your soulmate? Not necessarily, but at least you are engaging within a reality where you are open to something new and something magical coming into your existence. Sometimes even just flirting with new possibilities, whether it's professionally or romantically, helps put you in the pathway around believing that good is coming in for you, because it so is, right? It's only when we keep head down and just get so locked into the problem that we forget to flirt, stay open. Not every date will work out. Not every stroll into the boutique will work out. Not every job interview will work out. But so long as you are trying, so long as you are taking time to connect, so long as you're putting yourself out there, you are flirting with the possibility that your life can transform, because it can. And so, optimal day to write, negotiate, collaborate. Like I said, words on point, riz on point. Okay, so if you've been wanting to compose like a little flirty DM or something of that nature, all I'm saying, Mercury sextile Venus might be a nice day. Now, sextiles are opportunity aspects, so you don't have to, but there's just this opportunity to be able to communicate in a more loving fashion, as well as to show your love and appreciation via your words. So pep talk yourself, pep talk those around you, uplift, inspire. And on Wednesday, be gentle if you're not the most productive. Okay, be gentle if you're not the most productive. Wednesday's astrology is giving me the vibes of the personality hire, if you're familiar with that term, because there's Mercury sextile Venus, which is very charming. There's not much that is getting done on Wednesday's astrology. The moon squares Neptune, so it's a little all over the place. But again, with Mercury sextile Venus, sometimes there's an easier way to get things done. Rather than doing it yourself, sometimes you can ask for a favor. Or sometimes rather than bulldozing to get the project done, you can, sweet talk the boss and get an extension. Like, I don't know why the astrology is giving me that energy, because there's a lot of charm, there's a lot of conversation, there's a lot of flirtiness, but there's not a whole lot of work being done. With moon square Neptune, our brains can be elsewhere, and really the Sagittarius moon wants an adventure, wants to go elsewhere, and with the square to Neptune, we just want to avoid the mundane aspects of life. There's just a vibe around, in this wild and beautiful world, you want me to do the spreadsheet? No, thank you. And just to let you know, just in case you've never come up with that word, because I've never known a personality hire, they just talk about it on TikToks. The kids talk about it on TikTok. Basically, a personality hire is somebody who adds to the office dynamic via their charm, via their humor. They aren't necessarily the one who's expected to do all the work or hit all the hard hitting numbers, things of that nature, but they're equally valuable on the team because they infuse some humor and charm and charisma, which are all amazing assets. If you have those assets, flaunt those assets, okay? Wednesday's astrology really gives that, because with moon square Neptune, there's not a whole lot of work being done, but with Mercury sextile Venus, there's still some humor, there's still some charm in there. And again, just being open to an easier solution where it's like, okay, rather than sitting down having to muscle through this project, maybe with Mercury sextile Venus, asking for some support on it, or rather than staying late in order to get this done, sweet talking the boss in order to get an extension. Again, your mind might be a little bit elsewhere, but it's a really optimal day to build connections, to flirt with new possibilities and new ideas. The moon will be void, closing aspect moon square Neptune. So like I said, not the most productive day. And it does not enter Capricorn until 11:41 p.m. So don't be hard on yourself if you're not feeling the most productive on Wednesday. Okay, when the moon enters Capricorn, you'll be kicking it into overdrive. So on Thursday, November 16th, as I promised, okay, this is the day that you're gonna be more inclined to want to get things done, get things handled. The Capricorn moon sextiles its ruler shortly after midnight, and then we'll trine Jupiter in Taurus at 2:48 p.m. PST. If you're familiar with Capricorn moon, it is in the sign of its detriment, so it's not the coziest here, but it is making more emotionally enticing in order to be productive, to build something of value, to attune to your legacy. And like I said, with last week's Virgo moon trining Jupiter in Taurus, it feels good to create. It feels good to put things out there. Like I said, with this week's astrology, it whispers new beginnings, but again, sometimes it does take a fair amount of effort in order to get to that new beginning, right? Like within the vibe check, new opportunity didn't fall on your lap, right? You had to go for the walk. You had to strike up a conversation. Like sometimes we do have to do stuff. With the Capricorn moon, just letting know we'll be more enticed to want to do stuff. The Capricorn moon does square Venus and Libra, which kind of gives me the energy when you're trying to get something done, but your phone is blowing up of your bestie wanting to talk to you, or you're trying to get something done, but your coworker pops over like, hey, can you help me with this? Or you're trying to get something done and you're deep in a project working on it, and then you look at your clock and you're like, oh, I have to be at this meeting in 5 minutes and I'm so in the zone. I don't have to go to this meeting. There can be some conflict there, certainly. And again, the danger of Capricorn moon is to emotionally feel like we need to deserve nurturing, right? Like, so long as you are productive enough and worked hard enough and are actualized enough and successful enough, then you are worthy of essentially self-care or of nurturing yourself. And again, that's not the case. And it's so important to flip the narrative on that, if that is coming up for you on Thursday, around flipping the narrative from I need to succeed in order to feel worthy to flipping it around I am so worthy that I deserve to succeed. Like, that's the energy around I love myself so much that I'm going to make everything happen for myself. I'm going to build my dream business. I'm going to build my dream relationship. I'm going to actualize and achieve my dreams. Saturn Pisces being the ruler of this moon, it asks for that. What is it that you dream of? And be willing to anchor those visions down here in planet Earth within reality. You owe it to yourself to do just that. And the following day, we do have Mars trine Neptune. I just want to let you know that because it happened shortly after midnight. So you could absolutely be feeling this on Thursday as well. This is about inspired action. So again, Capricorn moon wants to work hard, but with Mars trine Neptune, it's really this energy around ensuring that you are working smart. Firstly, like I said, try to avoid gritted teeth, furrowed brow, doing things my way, the hard way this week. Contemplate, what if there was an easier way? And follow where it is that you are feeling that sensation of ease and alignment. Maybe there's certain tasks that are on your work desk that you're like, oh, I don't want to do that. But then there's certain tasks around, that seems interesting. Like following the essentially nudges of inspiration, or even if it's like, I haven't followed up with that lead for a while. Like following those little nudges that come to you around what it is that you're feeling inspired to do can also be a very smart way to leverage your energy on Thursday and Friday. On Friday, November 17th, we have quite a busy day within the cosmos. Shortly after midnight, Mars trines Neptune. So Mars is about how it is that we get what we want. Like I said with Mars and Scorpio, it's in rulership, it's shrewd, it's strategic. It's a Scorpion. It waits until the perfect time to strike. Right? It's not this energy around feeling like you have to rush all around town, jump into every single boutique and try to push your stuff. It's more so feeling the vibes, getting acquainted with the boutique, and as the energy aligns, making your move, feeling into the other person's energy, the shop owner, and just starting a genuine conversation, moving in alignment with the universe and allowing your energy to guide the way. And you might be saying, Haley Comet, I don't know how to read energy. You do. Okay, you absolutely do. You just have to trust it. Like, we do this in so many different ways. Like if you ever hit on someone, right? You just kind of feel the vibe. There's just something about somebody that you're like, and you just feel the moment's there and you take action. Or when you've ever DM'd somebody to want to like collaborate with them, you just kind of feel their vibe and you're like, for some reason this feels aligned, I'm gonna reach out, I'm gonna make my move. You read people and situations every single day of your life. And with Mars trine Neptune, it's about trusting it and taking action on it. Because with the energy of Mars trine Neptune, it's not so much feeling like you have to hustle and grind and be all of the places and do all of the things, but it's just understanding that you are not alone in this. Even if it's your own candle business, even if it's your own job, your own endeavor, your own passion project, you are in co-creation with the divine. And with Mars trine Neptune, it asks you to ensure that your energy is being bucketed towards where you are feeling drawn to, what is feeling in alignment. Whenever we talk about Neptune, especially in Pisces, it makes me think of the ocean. It's just this energy with Mars trine Neptune around reading the currents. And rather than forcing all of your energy around swimming upstream, it's just like, let me float. Let me just float and go with what feels easy. Like, it just feels so natural to start this conversation with someone, or it just feels so aligned to reach out and book with this person. Like, your energy is trying to tell you something. Trust it. Because when it comes to Mars trine Neptune, when you know, you know. But when you know, you got to take action on that knowing. And the more that you take action and then you get what it is that you want because you trusted your intuition, the more you trust yourself. Because you understand that your wingman is the universe. Okay? You are in co-creation with the universe and it's whispering in your ear your next steps to take. You just need to trust and follow. Again, this is water energy. So your emotions could be trying to tell you something. Your motivation could be trying to tell you something. Your instincts could be trying to tell you something. Are you listening? And like I said earlier, when we're so stubbornly identified with the problem, or we're so like, it needs to be like this, we're not able to read energy and just flow as easily because we're so stuck in how we think it should be, versus the universe is trying to gently carry us into what's going to be way more aligned and way easier. And again, contemplate the times that you felt a vibe, took action on it, and it worked out, because this will help you build that belief in yourself and build that muscle around understanding that you are co-conspiring with the universe, okay? Like, think about that time that you saw a stranger and you went up to them and now that's your best friend. Or think about that time that you walked into a place and you were like, I could work here. You shot your shot, you got the job. Have a note. Just remind yourself of those experiences, because the next time you just get that feeling where you're like, ooh, that person, ooh, that boutique, ooh, that thing. Trust yourself because of these past experiences. You've seen the magic that you've manifested within your life because of that trust and because of taking action on those past experiences, so you don't let this moment slip. And listen, it's not from this urgent or scarcity perspective, but if the vibe is right, you gotta take action, right? It's literally like catching a wave. It's like surfing. When you see the perfect wave, you cannot delay. You gotta hit it at the right moment. If you doubt yourself for a split moment, you're like, ooh, maybe I should wait for the next one, or is this weird, what have you, you could miss the most beautiful wave and the most beautiful surf of your life, right? So if you feel the vibe, if you're like that wave, you got to take action on it. And you got to trust your intuition in taking action on it. So again, review that list. Contemplate the past times that this has worked out. You took a chance, you shot your shot with universe as your wingman, right? And it worked out. A lot of magic comes into your experience via that. And sometimes the universe answers your prayers in the weirdest way, in the most bizarre way that you would have never even designed yourself. Like for me. So I've lived where I live for about 7 years, and there's been different roommates who have sort of threaded in and out of this space. I've been the only constant, and it makes me happy just because there's little reminders of them all over. Like, I have a coffee cup that has one of my roommates' names on it, like some of the furniture some of my roommates left behind, even some of the decorations. It's just like a hodgepodge of past people that I've lived with. But I remember my friend was moving in with her partner, so it was time for me to get a new roommate. And most of the time I'd lived with friends. I did live with one rando, but it worked out really well. It was this cool Pisces actress named Alex. She was so cool. I think I found her on Craigslist, which is a little sketchy, but it worked out. Sometimes life works out. But this particular roommate search was not like finding Alex, which was like really seamless and it just flowed. This particular roommate search, I experienced so much resistance. It was almost laughable. It was honestly kind of comedic how hard this roommate search was, and just how much of a not great match the individuals I was interviewing for the space was. Like, I remember one gal, she came over and without even asking me, she went over to the fridge and opened it and let me know she would need about 3/4 of the fridge space because she's a raw vegan, so she needs space for all of her veggies, which again, respect. That is so cool that she ate like that. I'm not hating on it, but it was just a little much to like walk into someone's space and be like, yeah, by the way, you're gonna have to take up this much of the fridge. I was like, that's kind of a lot. Plus she had requested that no dairy or meat enter the house. And I was like, okay, this might not be a fit. This might not be the raw vegan haven that you are looking for. And that's okay. I'm just gonna honor that we're going different paths. Because one girl was promising, like the Insta was promising, I never even met her because we had a time set. She was gonna come at 5 p.m. So I had worked an entire day, came back, I didn't hear from her. I was like, this is so weird. And then finally at 6 p.m., she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I just woke up. Like, we went so hard last night. Like, you know how it is with the afters. The afters? The after party after the after party, girl. It's just like, okay, I've seen what I've needed to see. I don't need to live with somebody who's going to afters. That just seems like differences of lifestyle. And then there was someone that I interviewed where the vibe was right, we were getting along, and then she says, oh, by the way, just so you know, I do have multiple boyfriends. Which again, this is not me being judgmental. This is not me judging these people and their lives, but I'm just like, 3 boyfriends? I have to deal with 3 random men coming around in my cute little like, hey haven. I gotta get to know all 3. What if I mess up the details and that was the prior boyfriend? Like, I was just like, I don't know if that's a fit. I don't know if I want to get to know all 3 of your boyfriends. That just seems like a lot. Editing Haley again. It feels good to pop in. I used to pop in as Editing Haley more often, and it's been a while, so good to see ya. Love your shirt. Anyways, I just wanted to pop in and just see, because I'm so curious, if you had to live with one of these potential roommates, which one would you pick? Would you pick the raw vegan? Would you pick the one with 3 boyfriends? Or would you pick the one who goes to the afters? I'm genuinely so curious. So I was really getting frustrated with the universe because those were the sort of situations and the sort of people that I was interviewing. Again, all living their own journeys, all living their own truths. I just knew it was not a match for the sort of vibe that I wanted to curate within my home and the sort of lifestyle that I lead. And I was like, universe, come on. Like, this is insane. Like, where is my ideal roommate? Like, what is the vibe? Randomly, I think on Facebook, people were like posting best of next door. Like, do you know the website next door? It's like this like neighborhood app where people, from what I gather from it, people just complain about various things in the neighborhood. There was like a funny thing on Facebook of like best of next door of just people like complaining about random things in the neighborhood. And I was like, I wonder what people are saying about my neighborhood. So I joined next door randomly. I see a post from somebody who lived in my neighborhood who said, hi, I work from home. I just had a baby. My in-laws take care of the baby during the day, and I was hoping that I would be able to work from here, but I'm just finding it's too loud. It's too distracting. I'm just curious if anybody has a spare room that I can rent out as an office. That would not have been something that I would have ever contemplated, but I shot my shot. I was like, hi, I do. So her name is Lucy. Lucy's the coolest. So she came over, she brought the baby. Obviously the baby wouldn't come with her to work, but she brought the baby. She checked out the space. We got to know each other. The vibe was so right. I was excited to be able to work here. We like established hours, like she would be able to come like Monday through Friday and like certain hours. We figured out all the terms and whatnot. And then that was my roommate. But it was even better than I could have imagined because again, I got the space entirely to myself. I was, yes, sharing space with her, but only during working hours. And it was honestly kind of nice because we were both working from home. So like I would make coffee in the kitchen, we would like chat. It was almost like we were making our own office, like kind of like encouraging a little bit of that like co-working dynamic just from my own place. So all of that to say, it aligned so perfectly and so weirdly. I would have never conceptualized that as a solution. The universe was like, you need to stop looking for a roommate and start looking for a coworker. I would have never thought of that. But again, the universe is a lot smarter than us, okay? That's why it's important to get out of our own way and just be like, universe, my plan clearly isn't working. What's your plan? And with Sun trining Neptune, the Mars Cazimi on Friday, it's taking action. Again, I would not have met Lucy had I not just followed that nudge around, download Nextdoor. I could have been so in the problem where it's like, I don't have time to get on Nextdoor. I have to find a roommate, right? Because that's not a website that typically people find roommates from my perspective. I could have just seen that and been like, oh, I don't have time to look at what my neighborhood is complaining about. I have to find a roommate. I gotta hustle. I should put up signs or something like that. But I just followed a nudge. And again, when I saw her post, I reached out, hi, come check out the place. Like the universe can give you the nudge to join Nextdoor. It can nudge Lucy to make that post, but it cannot make you shoot your shot in order to align into this better situation. So just trusting your intuition and where it is that you're feeling guided. Trust where it is that you are feeling inspired to pounce or like take action. And with Sun trine Neptune, just remember how guided you are. Even if the circumstances are not ideal. Again, I was a mess that month because the first of the month was creeping in and I was like, I don't know if I can cover the entirety of this place by myself. My options are either a roommate with 3 boyfriends, a roommate who goes to the afters, and a roommate who needs 75% of the fridge space. Like, universe, what do you want me to do, right? But with Sun trine Neptune, trust that things are aligning, things are taking shape. And also, to a very just practical level, with Sun trine Neptune, you can be feeling this call to want to express yourself in very novel, remember Sun is separating from Uranus, very inspired ways with Sun trine Neptune. So again, honor the flow of muse, honor the flow of inspiration. Like when it comes to Neptune energy, you can't force it. You can't fake energy, you can't fake inspiration, but you gotta paddle and surf when the perfect wave comes. Because inspiration, muse, even spirit, it comes in up and down. It comes in unexpected ways, and you've got to surf that wave when it comes in, when you're feeling inspired. And like I said, knowing that you're backed up by spirit, because for some of you, it'll come through around taking action towards an opportunity, but for some of you, it's gonna be advocating or standing up for yourself around understanding. Maybe for you, the disruption that's coming in is like, enough is enough. Like, I'm sick of this. And there's almost this energy around aligning with your ability to assert or stick up for yourself and understanding with the trine to Neptune, you can do so compassionately. Like, don't feel like you are being rude by essentially stating your boundaries, by asserting what it is that you need, by asserting what it is that you will and will not accept. Like, there is a way to still be sweet and kind and aligned with the universe and spiritual, but still not take any crap from anyone. Like, that's also the energy of this, and understanding that you are backed up by spirit in order to do so. Maybe the universe has aligned for you to have this certain challenging circumstance so that you would build this muscle around standing up for yourself and asserting asserting yourself. So when you're praying like, universe, please make it so this coworker moves to a different office, there's so much, the universe is like, no, we put this in this lesson of life school so that you would learn to assert yourself and stand up for yourself, because it's going to be an important part of your journey. And understanding that annoying situation, right, that fleck of sand is supporting you in becoming a pearl, right? That annoyance is turning into something beautiful. It's turning into a way for you to advocate, assert, and create something powerful within your world. And you are backed up by spirit, even if it's hard, even if it's uncomfortable. You might be asking universe, allow this obstacle to be dissolved, but universe might be nudging you around, no, the purpose is the obstacle. The purpose is the conquering of it. The purpose is the facing of this. And to be able to learn from the spiritual wisdom that conquering this challenge will give you. Sometimes that is the prize. So from a lunar perspective, the moon is transiting Capricorn all day. Like I said, always important to keep in mind and bear in mind that you are not the sum of what it is that you have or have not accomplished in life. With the Capricorn moon squaring Chiron earlier in the day, there could be this wound around, oh, why don't I have what that person has? Again, you are on a different journey, right? You are riding your own wave. That person might be at the height of yours, but your time is coming. Like with Sun trine Neptune, it's relaxing into the flow, just getting excited for where this wave is taking you and not comparing yourself to the other surfers in the sea. I don't know why I'm doing so many surfing analogies. Even though I live in San Diego, I do not surf, and it's November, so it's not necessarily that is even seasonal. But other than that, the Capricorn moon will trine Uranus and Taurus, sextile Neptune and Pisces, sextile Sun and Mars and Scorpio as they're building to create their Cazimi. So there is this energy around being able to essentially experiment and play with some novel ideas to go where it is that inspiration is leading you and nudging you. I will keep reminding you of this, but I just want to let you know next week, the 25th to be exact, Mercury enters its pre-retrograde shadow. Right now we have a waxing moon. We have all of this juicy, essentially creative, visionary energy. So if there is something that you want to work on, a new project that you want to either launch or start or initiate in some way, this is really fertile territory in order to do so. Again, you can use Mercury retrograde to refine, to dial in the details. I mean, Mercury in Sagittarius isn't the most refining energy, but typically Mercury retrograde, it's great to get caught up on past projects, to dial in, to fine tune, to essentially halt the flow of feeling like it constantly needs to be new and the next thing in order to finish what's ongoing. So with that being said, knowing that that time is ahead, this would be an optimal time where it's like, I want to use Mercury retrograde in order to edit this piece. Start the piece right now. Right now, edit then. And then that evening at 9:42 p.m., we have the Mars Cazimi. So Cazimi means in the heart of the sun and Mars fuse and become one. Mars is obviously very comfortable here. So again, there is this solar spotlight on our Mars, which is our ability to take action, to assert ourselves. Some of us are tapping into our power this week, and you are understanding that it can be a very spiritual thing to be strong around. Maybe you've been feeling like a victim of your own circumstances around, oh, I'm just in this situation. It just feels like it's never ending and it's always going to be this way. But with the sun Mars, maybe this is the spotlight moment for you around, no, I do have power over my reality. And no, I do have the talent and the ability and the shrewd strategy in order to put myself into a better situation. And maybe there's even a spotlight on your ability to advocate for yourself, your ability to state those boundaries, as I highlighted earlier, that are aligning for you. With this energy, it could be very passionate, okay? And so that absolutely could show up within lust, but it also could show up within lust for life. And people can be feeling a little bit more feisty or a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more passionate, you know, with this Mars Cazimi, certainly. And even though the moon meets up with Pluto not until Saturday morning, a little after midnight, we will feel it build. So with Moon and Pluto, your emotions can feel intense. Like part of Scorpio is about the Phoenix, right? So there can be this acknowledgement around, wow, I'm really in this transition. I'm really in this transformation. Wow, it's really uncomfortable. Because that's the thing. It's like, even if our current reality isn't ideal, it's comfortable, right? You might hate that commute, but you're used to this commute, right? And so it's uncomfortable when you are flirting with possibility around something new. It's uncomfortable when you are shooting your shot for new opportunities and new circumstances. It's uncomfortable when you change jobs. It's But with Moon on Pluto and the Mars Cazimi, it's reminding you around, yes, the circumstances might be tough, but so are you. And so arising to where your life is asking you to transform at this time. On Saturday, November 18th, so as I highlighted a little after midnight, the moon meets up with Pluto, promptly going void, which can be creating some intense emotions. The moon will be void until the moon enters Aquarius at 3:28 a.m., which essentially shifts the focus from the moon in Capricorn emphasis around gotta build and gotta actualize and got to create my legacy towards the moon in Aquarius is like, where is it that I want to create change within humanity? Where is it that I want to help other people move towards the future? You know, no pressure or anything. You might be saying, Haley, Comet, I'm just trying to get through the day. And you're telling me to focus on saving the world. Listen, I believe that each and every one of us has a particular mission. And I think our mission speaks to us through a combination of what it is that we're passionate about, what it is that we are talented in, what it is that we are drawn to. That's why it's like some people, it like so lights them up. They're so passionate about like animal activism. Some people, they are so passionate about wanting to save the earth. Some individuals, they're so passionate to want to infuse their activism through music or through storytelling or what have you. It can feel heavy sometimes because there's so much going on and there's so much suffering all over. And there's so many different issues that you could be mad about and experience sorrow for. But again, there's a whisper around where it is that you can do the most good. And I think that's part of Sun and Mars trining Neptune is looking at your passions around what it is that you are drawn to, where it is that your heart yearns, what makes you mad. Looking at that as clues around where it is that you are feeling called upon in order to serve, in order to help humanity. It's not saying you have to volunteer at 6 and fundraise at 10 and do all the things and be dialed in all of the different causes. It's all about paying attention to where it is that you are feeling the most inspired in order to create change. I do believe there's a particular magic that is the summary of the talents that you have, of the glow that you illuminate, of the passions that you have, of the causes you feel drawn to, that are all signaling where it is that you can have the biggest impact and do the most good for this planet. And for anyone out there who has a hard time putting themselves out there, even if it's something so important to you, where you're like, this is a cause that's so important to me, but I feel so weird putting myself out there. Again, with the Mars energy this week, it is about asserting. It is about shooting our shot, right? Taking action. If you're someone where you feel silly doing so, I want to share with you the line of thinking that helped me get more comfortable in it, where really with this energy of the trines to Neptune, it's about tapping into, if I believe that what it is that I'm doing is in alignment with these higher level compassion, who am I not to answer this call? Wouldn't that be incredibly selfish? If I really did believe that the perspective that I have with the offerings that I have really can help people's lives and change people's lives and make the world a more enjoyable place, who am I not to share? Who am I not to tell this shop owner about my spiritual boutique? I believe in my products and the healing potency that they have, so much so that they can really help people's lives and uplift their vibrations. Who am I not to be the steward and the advocate for that mission, for that aim? That kind of helped me trick my brain into getting more comfortable around being visible and putting myself out there around, if I truly do believe that astrology has the capacity to be able to heal and to inspire and to give hope and to provide validation and to provide a higher level way of framing our experiences, who am I not to share that information? It helps you kind of get over any sort of imposter syndrome around, who am I? Who would want to listen to me? Who am I not to? Everyone's passion is different. Where everyone is meant to help humanity is different. But what I can say is that the universe is dialing your number, letting you know where it is that you can do the most good. It's letting you know via your passions, via your instincts, via your intuitions. Your job is to answer the phone. And so also on Saturday, just to a very mundane level, the moon squares Jupiter. So always important when it comes to moon square Jupiter, avoid going to excess as it relates to indulgences towards wanting to feel good, whether that's excess of food, excess of buying, excess of being lazy. Again, you could be lazy. It's the weekend. Stay in bed. Do whatever it is that you want. Like we've been talking about with Venus and Libra. Remember to balance those indulgences with, I should go outside and see the sunshine on my face before it goes down. And so it might be kind of a lazy day, but if there are any interesting invitations that come in at night, say yes. Great time to socialize with the Aquarius moon building to trine Venus and Libra. On Sunday, the 19th, so like I said, a little after midnight, the Aquarius moon trines Venus and Libra. So great morning or great afternoon, whatever time that lands in for you, to prioritize connection. Aquarius is around the groups and communities we feel aligned with, and Venus and Libra Libra is this energy around wanting to feel seen, right? Wanting to feel seen, whether it's by people that we feel like-minded around, or our friendship groups, or just one-to-one connections within our world. And there does feel to be something healing about feeling seen. Even in your weirdness, the Aquarius moon sextiles Chiron in Aries. So it's really lovely to be around friends that you could be weird with. That's the vibe with Aquarius moon sextiling Chiron. And there is some restlessness because the Aquarius moon squares Uranus. So really a great reminder. I'm reminding you of your homework assignment to do something different, infuse some novel into your reality. The cosmos is nudging you. So my loves, that is our week. The Magic Monday mantra of the week is, I am a powerful co-creator with the universe. With this week's Neptune aspects, it is a reminder that you've got the universe as your wingman, okay? Where it's going to align you to the ideal people or circumstances or shop owners for you. But at the end of the day, it's up to you to shoot your shot. It's up to you